Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. Beautiful day today, 80 degrees here in Long Island, New York. Today I'm gonna take the first steps in trying to get the John Deere LT160 project started. And the project at hand is that I got that LT160 lawn tractor from friend Mark, who gave it to me with a blown Kohler command engine, 16 horsepower. This is the stock engine off of that LT160. Has a blown connecting rod in it, I believe. And today we're going to drain the oil out of here, flip it upside down, take off the sump cover, and inspect inside whether or not there's a lot of trauma or damage to the interior of the engine block. I want to check out all the other problems it has, because my solution actually is that I have another 15 horsepower Kohler command engine that I got off of a trade and it seized. I unseized it, actually got it started up again. It no longer has good compression, so it runs lousy for like 10-20 seconds and then it stops. So I'm thinking all you need to do is replace the piston in there, because with good rings that will compress with the bore. Possibly this piston can be swapped into that one and it would work. Put that engine back on here, put the deck back on there, and there you go, fixed, right? But maybe that engine has a bad bore, so we could take the connecting rod out of that one and put it in this one, provided that this one's good to go. So I'm going to drain the oil first. So if any of you have ever made a video in the summer, cameras such as GoPros and even your iPhone, if it sits outside in the heat for a long period of time, they say temperature too hot, restart, whatever. So the camera will not work. I have the camera all the way in my garage and I have it zoomed onto here. I'm outside in the heat because it's great lighting. Anyway, we're gonna drain this Earl. It has one of those quick disconnecting bobs. Drain the oil, cleaned it up, disposed of it. Now we're gonna flip it upside down so that the sump cover is exposed. I can hear some stuff moving around in there. Looks like 3/8 or 10mm bolts, lots of them to get the sump cover off. You want to make sure they're the same size, otherwise you have to put them in exactly how they came out. So far they're the same size. Might need the 1/2 inch impact. I think that's it. Lots of them. Like 10? I'm gonna get a small mallet. Broke the fuel filler, oil filler. It's coming though. Oh, there's a thing here. I don't remember that thing. You guys recall this thing? How do I get that out? Unless you have to remove the crank seal? I don't remember that. Okay, as you guys saw from time lapse, I took off the flywheel, but actually it didn't make a difference. I could slip off the cover. I just wasn't pulling hard enough. Here we go, flywheel. And look at the damage. So here's the camshaft. Camshaft is Dunsky, trashed. The other part of it is right there. You see this gold lever sticking out of it? That is the mechanical fuel pump on the other side. So basically it moves from the lobes of the camshaft, causing it to pulse. That's how the pulse works on the mechanical fuel pump. Kind of complicated. I pulled the piston with the broken connecting rod out. I pulled it out so that the rings don't pop out. This has very good compression. So I was thinking that I could just loosen the pin in there, take the pin out, take the connecting rod out, take the new connecting rod, put it back in, reassemble it, and we're good to go. Because the only thing wrong with this is the camshaft and the broken connecting rods. They're the pieces right there. So an easy fix is to just take the connecting rod out of the other engine and slip it right in, connecting it to, I don't know, maybe I'll use that crankshaft, because this one has aluminum transfer on to the journal, which, you know, you could fix, but if that one's okay, why not use that, right? And that should be done, because I don't see any trauma in here except for this small area there. But I mean, that doesn't really reach the area where the rings stop. The rings stop way before that, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's a big issue. Or see, I'm worried about the other engine. The other engine could have bore what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, son of a bitch. Scoring. Scoring's the word I was looking for. The other engine block could have a scored bore and stuck rings in the piston. It could have a lot of issues. So before I pull that piston out, because it's hard to get it back in without a compression tool, which I have, but it's still a pain in the ass. Right now, I could just push this back in if I want with good compression. You know what I'm saying? And just remove the connecting rod. So I don't think we could really do anything more until I take the other one apart to see if the other one is in better condition. Well, it doesn't have any compression, so I'm pretty sure that it's the bore and the piston and the rings that are bad on it, because that's what happens when you seize an engine, is that when it runs low on oil, the engine has overheated tremendously. All the oil has been dried up in there because it's super hot, and the pistons, the rings are compressed in the piston, or it has scored the bore also with no compression. So I think the better bet is, since we know we have a good bore, a good piston and rings on this one, and the only thing bad on this is the connecting rod and the camshaft, I think we just put a new connecting rod and the camshaft in there from the old one. Not too worried about that trauma there, because like I said, the piston's not ever going to come out this far. I'm just pulling it out so I can access the pin to release the connecting rod. But it doesn't affect that at all, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking about doing. That's the easier fix. Well, it looks like I might have to pull out the other engine then. Take that apart to get access to its connecting rod and camshaft. Okay, I cleaned up the interior. Any loose shavings out of there. There wasn't too many. Pretty clean brake. Here's the 15 horsepower one with low compression. Because it has low compression, I don't think I'm going to use the short block on this, because it's the bore that's probably, you know, scored, or the piston in there is no good. I don't know. Can't tell unless you take it apart to see. Just drain the oil out of it. These were the pieces from the first engine. I'm gonna flip this upside down, take the sump cover off, and take a look inside. So as you saw, I removed the bottom sump of the second engine. Seems pretty good. And then I wanted to take the crankshaft out, so I removed the flywheel and the whole top, and look what I found. Now it makes the decision a lot easier, because this engine had no reason for running. It actually did run, like I said, for 10-20 seconds. Look at this. This wasn't even attached to it. I mean, maybe it was before he gave it to me, but this actually ran with this not even bolted on. I mean, I might have taken it apart. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But there's a ton of rust here. And also, this flywheel's missing 2 of the magnets. I don't know where it went. And just take a look at this stator. Look at the condition of this stator, man. This thing was running with this rotating in there like that. I mean, how could that happen without this thing completely blowing up? This is just trash, you know? So it makes the decision a lot easier that we're not going to use this engine, obviously. We're just gonna take the connecting rod out of it and the camshaft and put it in this one. This engine is in far better condition, even with that. And it's just trash. Total trash. Also, you couldn't put a stator back on here anyway. The bolt's broken inside. 2 of them. So that's what happened. It didn't allow the stator to be solidified onto the machine. But I don't know where the bolts are, though. It's strange. I don't remember if I did it or the owner did it. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'm gonna flip this back upside down again and remove the crank and the cam, and the synchro balancer's already out. So we're just gonna steal this connecting rod, crankshaft, and camshaft, put it into that. All right, I saved you guys all the boring stuff. It took a long time. My ass is killing me sitting on this baby chair. Oh, it's been an hour, I guess. So I took the crankshaft out. In other words, you guys saw. I took the crankshaft out, and this is the second engine's camshaft. Crankshaft, and I used the original synchro balancer. That just stayed where it was. It looks good. I've lined up the holes over here. Can you guys see? This has to match with this. This over here has to match with that. Actually, yep, that's right, because this is the closest hole. You don't mind these 2 holes. These 2 holes just allow oil to get through passageways. The closest hole to the teeth is right here. This matches against this square thing right there. On the second level of gears on the crankshaft, there's a little dot on one of the teeth that corresponds to the big dot on the synchro balancer. That makes sense, right? I'm not 100% sure I put the connecting rod on the right side, whether it's this side or that side, but they're both equidistant, so I mean, I guess it's all right. When I took this one out of there, the serial number 1205 was on the top. So that's what I did. I had the serial number of the connecting rod on the top, even though it didn't really come out of the original one that way. So I don't know. Anyway, I've used assembly lube when I put the tappets back in. These are hydraulic lifters, so you have to lube them up before you stuck them in there. Lubed up the little hole where the camshaft goes into, lubed up the little hole where the synchro balancer goes into, lubricated the cam seal on the top. We'll lubricate the cam seal on the bottom sump. I have to grind this a little bit cleaner, put a bead of RTV silicone which is what was originally on there. And I'm going to clean that sump up a little bit, and then basically just plop this back on, put the head bolts, put the sump bolts back in, fill it up with Earl, put the starter's already on here, and then, you know, just try to start it, I guess. It took a long time. We really couldn't use this other engine because this engine has a lot of things wrong with it. It's missing 2 magnets off the flywheel. It has the trashed stator, right? It has the trashed magneto. Also, the stator points of mount on the top of the block it had 2 broken bolts in there holding the stator. And even though this is a good bore and it looks pretty good on the inside, you can't really sell this or use this unless you drill those 2 stator bolts out. I'll probably keep the head. I'll take the head off and keep it, chuck that. I'll keep the sump. I guess I'll keep the flywheel even though it's missing the 2 magnets, because nobody ever sells just the magnets, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think I did it all right. That's still a good crankshaft, I guess. And then of course this is trash right here, right? Couldn't really use this muffler because look, this muffler is trashed. Guess we can still use the you know, cover. That one actually has a sticker on it, but since this lawnmower is supposed to be a 16, we'll just use the original one. Also, the original one has a voltage regulator on it too, so we're going to need that. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to grind this surfaces clean, and the surface is clean on the sump. Fit it back on. Put the bolts on. Oh my god. I should wait until tomorrow, but I feel like I should put it. I mean, I got to clean this stuff up anyway, right? Alright, I'm absolutely dead. Been out here like 3 hours. I put it all together again. I still have to put this one together. Flywheel, engine cover, all that. I'm a little worried, I'm not going to lie. Because just trying to turn the crankshaft with a wrench, got a lot of compression. I know push rods aren't in there, it's not releasing the valves at any time, I know, but still, I don't feel too good about it because I had a dickens of a time getting the sump cover off. Anyway, I gotta clean up this mess, throw it all in the garage. I gotta come back tomorrow. I'll see you later. Well, there you go, guys. This is the result of the rebuilt engine, 2 busted ones, making hopefully a good one. I also changed the fuel filter to a Ford Motorcraft ones. I had a couple that I had left over. I wasn't sure if it fit, but it did fit. And reconnected this ground strap, which is unique to this engine because the cover's plastic. This is steel, So you have to have the voltage regulator grounded to steel. So usually there's a wire, black wire, that goes from here to there, but this one has this metal plate, which I've never seen before. That goes into the voltage regulator. 2 wires coming from the stator underneath the flywheel, which we know is good, not like that other trash one. That goes into the voltage regulator, in turn converts it to 14 volts, which goes to the harness. This one here connects, I guess, to magneto. And then we're gonna have to need the wire that goes to the fuel solenoid, which I hate. Clean the, there's a lot of dirt buildup around the choke flap of the carburetor, so I just sprayed it a little bit. We may need to take that carburetor off. It doesn't run right, if it runs at all. Of course, I have 2 of these, right, from both engines. This one was the best condition one, but they were both missing the cover. Anybody have that cover lying around? Let me know, please. This is a good muffler, already attached on the bottom. I cleaned up the valve cover area. It had RTV silicone remnants from the previous owner. I put the 2 push rods back in there, bent the rocker arms so it fit. That was kind of tricky, but I didn't want to mess with, there's no real settings because they're hydraulic lifters, so it's either on or off, right? But I didn't want to mess with that screw in fears of stripping it, which I normally do. So I just basically pushed the spring down, bent the rocker arm up enough to get the push rods in there. So now both push rods are pushing onto those hydraulic tappets inside the engine. I didn't forget to put them in this time. I remember early on, I had put the engine all back together and I was holding these tappets in my hand. I'm like, son of a bitch, to take the whole thing apart just to put the tappets in. So I've learned my lesson. I didn't check the spark plug, but I just went ahead and reconnected the ignition coil. I guess we're gonna use the mechanical fuel pump. You know, it seemed to work okay. Like I said, that little claw thing inside touches the camshaft lobe, turns it, hits it, and then pushes this to create the pulse. And then, well, this has got to be attached, right? So this is the fuel line that goes in here. So this pumps, sucks the fuel from here, from the gas tank into here, goes up through here, comes out there and attaches to the carburetor. See? Oh, I need to connect it. I should do that. Everything else is okay. Like I said, I put the flywheel back on. The other flywheel had a shear key. So I knocked the old key out and put another one in there. So it's on here. And what was strange was when I put the flywheel back on, it didn't fit because the magneto was too close to it. So that was strange because that flywheel came off of this engine. Anyway, I did another air gap with a business card and it's clear now. I also grinded clean the magneto ends, you know, from the rust buildup, and also the attachment to the flywheel magnet. I also grinded the rust off. As you can see, we did put this together with RTV silicone. That's the gasket that I made all around. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I don't know, looks pretty good. Oh, I need to find a screw for this. All right, I connected the fuel line to the carburetor and I put that screw in here. Remember, we have no oil in. Kohler Courage's recommend 10W30. So I've got this 10W30 synthetic. I know, too good for this engine, right? Well, because it's newly built, you want as much protection as possible. So we're gonna dump this all in there. Lawnmower engines, lawn tractor engines should be 1.3 quarts. So we're pretty safe to just pour the whole quart in here and then top it off after we check the settings after it settles.
Oh, the fresh juices. Oh, new blood for the engine. Oh, it's good for my heart.
Who's a dick? That's right, I'm a dick. Why did it all just come out? Because I didn't put the drain plug filler on. Remember, I busted it? I didn't put the other one on. Such a dick. God, what a waste. And actually, after I put some super clean self-absorbent kitty litter on here, I'm thinking about the reason why I didn't put it in. Well, it's because I broke it, which means the other end of the part is still in there. And I already put the engine together. So how am I going to get that broken part out with the engine already together? Just didn't think about it. And then to add insult to injury, I left the oil filler cap off, put it on its side, and leaked out the rest of it. What an asshole I am. All right. Anyway, so what a mess. Look at that. Look at that. How am I going to get that out? Right there. How am I going to get that broken oil drain reservoir out of there? All right, I was just going to do time lapse to show you, but this is so genius that I had to show you. So I took a big screwdriver, about the diameter of the hole, banged it in. Yeah, baby, yeah. Well, that's not yeah yet. It's not out yet. But it's looking promising. Disaster averted. So, you know, when you're putting this all together, you get a brain fart. You're thinking of all the things that you could have done wrong, and then the obvious things like filling the oil without having a oil reservoir there or putting the oil cap on. So I created a mess, wasted a quart of oil, but you know what? You live and you learn. I probably will never learn because I guarantee you I'll make the same mistake again some other day. But either way, disaster averted. We didn't do all that for nothing because I was able to extract it. Now we'll put the other one on. This is from the other engine. This is kind of better because it has a turn down screw so that you don't make a mess when you change the oil next time. That is, even if this fits. I mean, I think it'll fit. It looks like it's going in. There we go. Lesson learned. We'll refill this oil now. All right, well, I've done enough damage for one day, right? 1.5 days to put this thing together, combining a blown 16 horsepower Kohler command into a low compressor 15 horsepower Kohler command, taking the parts, putting it together to come out with that. Simple procedure of just filling up the oil created this and wasting a whole quart of oil. You live and you learn, but it's always an adventure here at Mowers and Blowers. Anyway, I hope that thing runs. I'm gonna mount this onto the John Deere LT160 lawn tractor, connect all the connections, and see if it runs. Next time on Mowers and Blowers.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.